Nintopic Podcast, all things Nintendo. Yeah!
Live your life with it.
Oh, the remix. 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to the Nintopics Podcast. It is the weekend, and there is no better time or no better way to end your weekend here, the most positive way possible than here at the Nintopics Podcast with the all-time crew and nothing but a dance party, guys. 1, 2, 1, 2. I think Paul better be dancing right now. All gotta say, bob your head.
He's making his pecs pop.
1, 2, 3,
You can
4.
get a ninja to go check on him.
Welcome to the Nintopics Podcast, guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being here with us. It is another Friday. We got Joyce's giant mug with us as a special guest. She will be spilling the beans today. Today.
Actually, I do have some beans to spill.
So Joyce's giant mug will be spilling the beans today, and we will be having a really good conversation on Nintendo stuff happening over the week, and of course, an encore for last week because, last week was the Nintendo Direct, right? Mm-hmm. And so on Friday, we only got to talk about two little games, two little small tiny little games that literally took 4 hours of like the longest podcast ever recorded in Mike Odyssey channel history, 3.5 hours, right? And we talk about only Metroid and Zelda for the entire time. I mean, that's how much we love these two franchises and how great of an impact they made on us during the Nintendo Direct. But we have other titles that were also there, brand new, that we want to show some love to in this podcast, in the second part of the podcast today. But before that, first thing I want to say something is a shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you for being here. You are amazing. Everyone's asking for my camera. I changed the camera. It's still the borrowed camera that I have from my friend, but what I did was I changed the cable, and I also changed. I'm using a new video card. Hopefully, it doesn't cut off. Because the last podcast was cutting off but hopefully it doesn't cut off. And I'm hearing children.
Yeah, me too.
Are there children?
Pretty sure that's Paul.
I'm like, does Mario come alive? He's sitting over there. Just kind of.
It's me, Mario. Hello. Oh no. Wahoo.
See,
Who's
Mike,
that?
he's talking right behind. He's talking right behind you. You didn't see it?
What?
Okay, dokie.
Oh, he sat back down.
Mario?
Oh no, he's up again. He's up again.
I can see him through the camera. Anyway, so welcome everyone to the podcast. You guys are amazing for being here. Well, without further ado, I want to introduce the all-star cast here, people who make the podcast fun, right? I'm just here to take a little square here. These are the real stars here. These are the people who actually brighten my day every Friday. And I want to start with the one, the only, the correspondent of Hyrule, Joycey J. How you doing, Joycey?
Hi, I'm Hyrule's correspondent. I'm standing here next to King Bosforama. Hello, guys. Great to see you. A little bit of bean spillage, even though it's not necessarily a secret, but looks like there is a Summer Night Splatfest coming up on July the 12th.
Nice.
On your Switch, you can double check the news, and you can see the posting if you are subscribed to Splatoon news. So, yep, that's all the beans I got for you.
That is cool. Cool beans. Those are cool beans. And moving to the side on the neighbor here, directly from Hollywood, Chicago, Illinois, is Dr. Professor Patrick Zach Hendricks.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Patrick Zach Hendricks to you.
I'm doing good. It's funny. When you were when you said from Hollywood, I'm like, or first you said to the side, and I was like, okay, is he talking to the side of Joycey and me, or is he talking to the side of him and Paul?
Mm.
And then you were like, Hollywood. I was like, okay, well, that could be Paul, but then also he calls me Mr. Hollywood. So I was like on the edge of my seat the whole time. And you were like, Chicago. I was like, take that, Paul. I'm just kidding. No, I am doing good. It is good to be here. I am, what better way to spend a Friday night than on the Nintopics podcast?
You got that right? Any interesting note to share?
Nothing too crazy. I was up in Green Bay doing some audio for some production yesterday.
Oh,
but besides that, I've just been looking forward to the weekend.
nice. And then let's move over to up square, another square, corner square, the corner top square. Mr. Mask. What's
Majora's Mask?
Majora's Mask slash Ryu slash Goku over there. Paul Gill Network. What's up, Paul?
Oh, not too much. It's been a good week. Hot in Los Angeles, so lots of swimming, hanging out in the pool, doing some yard work, chores, still getting in some gaming, of course.
Yeah.
I think today starts the Tetris 99 crossover event with F-Zero 99, so I'm going to be hopping on that.
That's cool.
At the very least, I always do every Tetris 99 event because you just get a measly 100 points, and then you unlock that skin. You unlock that background and the sound effects and all that stuff, and it lasts forever. So you always have it on your console. So that's kind of cool. But I do try to get first place. I'm pretty good at Tetris. I have like 50 or so first place victories and one world championship victory.
Nice.
That's like champion amongst champions is the Invictus Cup. But there's a lot of people a lot better out there. That's one of the things that you find out that's humbling in the video game industry. You're good, but you're only as good as in your pool. And when your pool gets bigger, you're like, ooh, I'm in the ocean. And the ocean's got a lot of sharks. So, but that's been fun. Playing some Tetris, playing some Fortnite, some Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And, since I injured my hand back in March, I never did beat Princess Peach Showtime then. So I'm trying to wrap that one up now because my kids beat it before me, but I'm trying to. But yeah, overall a good week. And there's actually, I'll update later on something else, or I could say it now. I'll later. Yeah, because it's exciting, but I'll say it.
Yeah. You haven't shared that yet with anybody yet, right? Publicly. What do you want to share?
I don't think I don't know if you know it either. Even
I think is it something new separately?
Something new.
Yeah, we'll wait for later.
Yeah, something new. I might have talked about it some months ago.
Okay.
It was supposed to happen last November.
Okay, it happened.
So it's happening now. Well, it'll happen soon.
All right. Well, we got something to look forward to in the podcast, right? That's gonna be like the little cliffhanger, little thingy.
Yeah.
So, all right. And on my side of the corner, I've been doing a lot of yard work. I'm doing like the front yard. Besides that, this came in the mail.
Oh, what is that?
Ooh.
Nice. Good one. Great one.
Good choice. Good
But
choice.
I realized
Man of culture, I see.
it's a Japanese one. So is it the same kind of thing? Like, can I switch to English?
I hope it has an English text option in there.
Why did you order it in Japanese?
Because I'm blind. I just saw the picture. It said Oscar Chain on it.
I mean,
my homie, my bro.
Yeah,
most US games have like Japanese, Spanish alternate, text options. So if I'm not mistaken, they put in a comparable effort into the Japanese versions having English text and stuff like that. Will it also have the English audio track, or did they only do one audio track? So I don't know. You gotta tell us, Mike, because it's a fantastic game. But
I know.
Read/understand it.
Blue Moon is in the chat, and she says that it will work in English. So just
Okay.
make sure you switch
I
your settings.
thought
to
I
English.
thought I was gonna have to download one of those apps and learn Japanese. And
Oh boy.
game before.
Well, you technically have two options, so all you have to do is look for the English or the Spanish version. So,
Okay.
I mean,
And
they gotta have one of them.
I'm also look at this. Ooh.
Ooh. Now, what language is that one in?
This is in English.
That one's actually Pig Latin.
This is English. This is Luigi's Mansion Dark Move for listeners. Basically collecting my 3DS games just because I can play them now on my big screen here.
Mm-hmm.
And so the last one I purchased was Ocarina of Time, which I'm playing it right now. But I also have this one so I can play it right after. You know.
Oh yeah, Mike.
Good
That
choice.
reminds me. We got
Yeah.
beef.
We got beef? What?
We got beef, man.
I like beef.
What we got beef?
We got
Good
beef.
source of
man.
protein.
It is
Was
a good
it
source of protein.
Was it for my comments on Twix about the
Let me tell y'all what Mike did.
Go
Knowing
ahead.
good and well I follow him. Mike had the nerve to get on Twix, to get on Twitter, to get on Beyonce's internet, okay? And had the nerve to say, I looked at the Wii U tech demo for
Oh my
for
gosh.
Zelda, and it nope, I don't like that. I almost had to banish him to the dark world.
That wasn't
boy. That's brutal.
I just said I
How
wasn't-
dare he?
I just said I wasn't-
Honestly, I can't even laugh at that in my regular laugh. That deserves a Ganondorf laugh for how sinister
it
that
does.
was.
I
Yes,
just said I
please
wasn't
do.
impressed with it with the art style. I was like, it's all right.
You had
Do you
to be
understand?
there.
Yeah, there's
But-
that.
But here's the good thing, and this is like one of those important things that we talk about.
Yeah,
If you grew up watching black and white films
yeah. I
because
did.
you're old enough to like be around there, or black and white TV shows,
Yeah.
and you watch a new black and white TV show that like has that style, you're like, oh cool, I could appreciate that. But if you're too young, you're like, oh,
We ain't that
that's-
old, y'all. We ain't
That's
that old.
gross. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, if you
I
grew
watched
up in the era of 8-bit, 16-bit games, and you
So I
play a
grew-
new
I grew up in the
8-bit,
80s.
16-bit game, is it cool, or oh, that's too janky? And
Let me
here,
put it to you. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry, Paul.
and
Yeah.
like, I've differed though. Like, I was at that E3 when they showed off two things at once.
Mhm.
Here's Skyward Sword on Nintendo on Wii hardware in 2011 on this 5-year-old machine,
Mhm.
with Skyward Sword having a different art style than Twilight Princess, but the graphics, the polygons, everything else, what it could handle is like, oh, okay, this is dated hardware. And then right next to it, here's, by the way, a look at what Zelda could look like on Wii U. And it was just absolutely breathtakingly gorgeous, far advanced over what Skyward Sword was that same May on that show floor. We got those two back to back.
So
forever in my mind, that's the impression. 'Cause
So
they
that tech
let us
demo, the
play-
tech demo was shown after Skyward Sword was shown.
at the same E3 in May of 2011. So you got a glimpse of the future, what was going to come a year and a half from then, which was Wii U coming out, although that Zelda game never came out, right?
Mhm.
But, here you got to be like, oh my gosh, this is what Zelda could look like on the next system, while I'm here playing, no offense to Skyward Sword, but something that looks starting to get pretty dated by the time we got to see it on this hardware that's been out 5 years. So I don't know. For me, Mike, I need to hear. That's going to be the 2-hour discussion today because I'm with Joycey. Mike, tell us about your Zelda Wii U tech demo impressions and how did it not look beautiful to you, man?
Yeah, I really
I
want to know.
wasn't-
I need to
I wa-
understand.
We
So-
need to know this.
All right, let me go ahead and look it up.
You're on
We
the
can play-
spot.
let's go ahead and play it while we talk, so I can describe it to you. Yeah,
Yes, and ooh.
Zelda.
Let the
tech
record show.
demo.
I'm not saying anything about this because it's not fair for 3 people to be attacking you at once.
Oh, so there you go. There you go, Mike.
Tech
But we
demo.
know whose side you're on.
We know.
You're on the right
We
side
know.
of history.
All right,
and the
so
culture. And I
let's
got
see
my red
here.
pen. I'm gonna talk.
Zelda
I'm gonna get you, Mike. I
demo.
got my red pen.
I think I got the tech demo ready.
Yeah, chat's gonna see, and then Mike, I dare you to put up a poll today. Ask the
I triple dog dare you.
kind folks today, after watching the Zelda Wii U tech demo, Do you like the way it looks or not?
We've got sassy Paul today.
See, now I'm not on camera, so I could be like flying off.
No, Paul got that picture of him with no shirt on, so he knows he can get away with it today. That's what it is.
Yeah, for those of us who are listening to the podcast and not watching, me, Joycey, and Mike are on camera, and Paul just has his avatar, which is literally a real photo of him all jacked because he's like he's looking like he's the one who trained Link before that battle of Hyrule.
That's right.
Yeah, before every battle of Hyrule. So that's what
He
you
has
were
that
doing
picture
last
up.
year.
He has that picture up just to tell Mike, you can't disagree with me. Look at this.
Okay, so all right, so
This thing is gorgeous. That might even be my footage. Or I think actually, if that's
Wait a minute. No,
I'm the
there's
one that held the camera for Pear and Fran.
wait a minute. There's
That's
one
IGN.
that's out there that's the whole that's just
the actual clip.
yeah, and it doesn't have somebody's hands in front of it.
Oh, that's Pear Schneider. Yeah, I was right.
so there was actually a playable demo.
No,
we
like
got
the
to play
footage
it?
that's on. Oh, sorry.
Well, so we quote
I'll
unquote
find
played
it.
it. You got to play it by controlling the camera angle around
Yeah.
to show you that it was live
Mhm.
and not like pre-rendered. So
Hold
you
up.
have to
So,
move
so
the camera
that,
angles and then like switch it on the fly between light and dark, night and day.
so the actual game had a playable demo.
It's hardly playable. It's a rolling demo, but a
Yeah.
demo that was proven to be running on actual hardware
Okay.
and not a pre-rendered cutscene because you're able to zoom in and change the camera angles, but you
All
cannot control Link. You cannot like run around and stuff like that.
All right. So
Wait,
let's start.
Mike.
Let's start with this image right here. Okay.
Mike, wait,
Mhm.
hold on. Crap, my mouse isn't working.
Oh,
Hold
look
on.
how beautiful that looks. Come on now.
Wait.
Come on.
Look
I
at
can't
those-
even get back
those God
to.
rays.
I can't even get back to like freaking.
Where?
Oh
Where?
my God. Max be macking. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So this is nice here. I like the actual structure, the building, and how it looks, and how light
Thank you.
shines down like that. Everything.
Okay, that's 1 point. That's 1.1.
So what I'm not too crazy about is, all right. So far so good. Okay. Fire's good. Building is good. Camera's a little janky.
No, that's the person playing,
Uh-huh.
moving the camera around to
Mhm.
show that you can.
I see. Okay. All right. So this is not a problem here. I'll let you know when the problem starts.
Darn right.
And when it starts.
If you say the big old spider, I mean
That
that's
guy right
just
there.
Zelda.
Beautiful that is.
This guy right here. That's a problem right there. That long tail, the suit, the boots.
That's Link.
That's Link.
Yeah, this right here. Yeah, the face kind of is not great. The ears are too
That's
pointy.
Link though. That's what he looks like. He looks better here than in Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I said it.
No, Breath of the Wild looks better.
No, Breath of the Wild, you can't tell if that's hair on his chin or if it's just wispy.
I'm
Like
just
they didn't
imagining
finish
if
the
Lily
paint.
was here.
Yeah.
God, I wish Lily was here.
Look how fast and dynamic he is.
Yeah, so I'm not too crazy about Link's outfit.
That's Twilight Princess.
That's basically Twilight Princess. You're not gonna like Twilight Princess then.
Yeah, it is one of my least favorite games. Yeah, from Zelda.
And the thing about it is, Paul, remind me because I could be wrong.
Superman, woohoo.
Didn't we get Wind Waker like not too long before or after this or something?
That I Go Meow song's pretty good.
The Wind Waker on Wii U came out a couple of years after.
Hold on, Mike. Hold on.
Yes, you've
Wait.
seen it.
Because the thing is, what I'm trying to explain is I forgot what it was. We saw some version of that before Wind Waker came out because Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are on similar engines or on the same engine, I believe. And the problem was people saw a Zelda that looks like that, and then we got Wind Waker, and the outrage, I think, only died down about 10 years ago.
I prefer Wind Waker Zelda than that one. But
And I'm sorry about that because that's what Nintendo's actually want. Miyamoto, he finally admitted that he even cringed when he saw that because it's like that's not the vibe they want to go for. However, Wind Waker is an excellent game and everybody should play it, and it's one of the best Ganondorfs in the entire series. I will
Yeah.
say that. but they
Yeah,
want to get away from that because
great.
they want people to take the bigger games
Mhm.
just as seriously. So it
Yeah.
kind of messes with the vibe of what Zelda's supposed to be. Now, 2D games, they will always use some kind of cutesy art style, and
Yeah.
that's
Hang
fair, I
on.
think.
If you're talking about the trailer that we saw of Zelda before Wind Waker came out, you actually got to type in Space World Zelda 2000. That's the footage that was
That
shown
was the
off.
one. Okay.
Yes,
It was
and
something
then
like
Wind
that.
Waker was shown off that year later, and we were like, "Whoa!" So, if you're curious,
Fans
or
were
not
not
you,
happy.
Space World 2000 Zelda trailer. It's like 7 seconds long of Ocarina of Time Link versus Ocarina of Time Ganondorf running on what Nintendo GameCube could achieve. And I think the name of the console was barely shown off then because previously it was Nintendo Dolphin.
Ooh.
Nintendo Dolphin. But yeah, that was so we saw that HD at the time footage of like Link and Ganondorf, and then a year later they showed off here's Wind Waker, and then Wind Waker came out, and then that kind of Nintendo sort of did something similar. They showed off this footage, and then out came Breath of the Wild. So it's
Mhm.
like what we're cooking or what we're showing isn't necessarily what we're always cooking. They probably got so many things, so many types of cheeseburgers. You don't know which one you're going to get delivered with, but they're always cooking. They're always cooking.
Mhm.
And the
Can I
reason
tell
why
you
that
Can
no, go
I,
ahead.
can I tell you something? This is from the heart, because I
You're
read
still
comments.
you're still banished to the dark world, but you can say what you got.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, Mike is not a real Zelda fan. Just
I know. I
because
saw that.
Yeah, I'm
Who
like,
said that?
I'm like,
Crazy
what?
Scotch or
Yeah,
something.
I'm like,
Oh, he says I don't think Mike is an actual Zelda fan, meaning that you probably don't enjoy it as much as somebody like me.
No,
I don't think I enjoy Mario as much as you.
but this is the thing. This is the thing.
I also suck at platforms.
If you knew me, you know that I enjoy every single game to the fullest. Am I a religious fan to the franchise? No, I'm not. You know, and I'm not a religious fan to Mario either. I'm actually not really a lore person to any particular game. I'm just Nintendo. Period. You know, I love the Nintendo. I love their games. I enjoy everything. I think at an equal way, right? And so maybe this is a hot take. I just like Link's the Legend of Zelda. I like Link in Breath of the Wild and in Tears of the Kingdom better than I do prior Links. You know, without the green stuff. I know that's really very hot take, just because he has this little tunic thing like Peter Pan kind of way. But I like the fact that Link wears different outfits. You know what I mean? Instead of just one thing.
I do have a question for you,
I'm
Mike.
not against the green tunic, but
He does wear different outfits. You just have to get far enough into the game you're currently playing. He'll get another outfit.
Wait, Joyce, I got one question for Mike. Have you seen? I want to know your opinion. This isn't like a gotcha setup or anything like that.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Hero of the Wild outfit from Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
So that's his green outfit from Breath of the Wild that you get after doing like everything basically. And if not, I would love for you to react to that really quick, since we've already had you reacting to a Zelda outfit on here.
So the green of the wild outfit, you
Yeah,
mean?
so it's called Hero of the Wild outfit.
Let's look it up.
It's
That's
from
also
Breath of the
like-
Wild.
That's his
Getting the-
alternate costume in Super
the
Smash
wild.
Bros. For
Yep.
Ultimate.
Getting the fans to even accept that Link now, well, at least for the era of the Wild, wears blue, was almost like a big. Like I saw like total arguments on Twitter of fans like, he doesn't wear blue. Why does he have to wear blue?
Okay. I know.
It's
I know.
still Link. He just has a different outfit. It's okay.
It was his Royal Guard outfit.
Yeah. I actually
I
know
hated
what
the Royal Guard.
I know what you're talking about, and to be honest, let me go ahead and look at it. Let bring it up here. Bring it up here real quick, and then I'll share it on screen. Let me go ahead and let me know if this is the one that you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not a real Zelda fan.
You're a Zelda fan. You just have a different taste in art.
Yeah, this is
And that's okay.
This is what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's
Well-
the Hero of the Wild one, right?
Is,
Or
this,
wait,
is this the one where he's
I
missing the
hated
pants?
it.
wait.
I hate that outfit.
Does the Hero of the Wild outfit not have pants?
Doesn't look like he has pants.
It's based because it's based off of
Yeah, the
the
original
first-
sprite.
Yeah, in the original one, he only had. Well, he was.
Kilt.
You
Yeah,
don't see it, but he had shorts on.
colors. Yeah.
Like a kilt. I'm not too bad. I'm not too. Not too bad. This is my favorite outfit. Period.
Okay.
I like the one with the extra leather on the.
This to me looks.
belly.
This to me looks. More, I'm not sure if. Of course, I have.
No, the one that you just showed was a link to the past link. Tunic
was a
of
link
the
to the
Wild
past
is a little bit different.
Okay, so this one right here, this to me looks more like royalty when it comes to Link. He's like the protector of Zelda. I love. Let me tell you something. I love the story of the Legend of Zelda. I love how Link is always there for Zelda. They have they're chosen throughout time. It's not always the same Link in every single game. Like it's a form of reincarnation because they're cursed, right, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not sort of, because here's the thing. Even though people like to debate me on this, but this is the way the games go. Some links are blood related. Because if you look, they're just ancestors and ancestors and ancestors apart. And then there are others that are spiritual sort of things, like Wind Waker Link is, they because of reasons, we're not going to go into all of it. They didn't have the actual hero actually didn't come exactly. So that kid was kind of chosen, who just happened to be Link, who just happened to look good in green.
Yeah. Now I like this outfit right here.
That's Skyward Sword, isn't it? No, it's not.
I really like.
Or is that Twilight? Right, is that Skyward Sword or Twilight Princess?
That's Ocarina.
That one's Ocarina. See, they start looking.
Yeah,
like when I'm in the game, I can make sense of it, but like when I see him, I'm like, wait a minute, which one is it?
I'm playing Ocarina. Yeah, I'm playing Ocarina of Time right now, and I'm super enjoying it. So,
Ocarina of Time Link is the most tragic character in
yes,
all of creation ever.
Like I want to give him a hug, like so bad.
I'm just glad that we get to see him as a Stalfos later,
Yeah. I mean,
no, don't say yeah, Mike, because you're not going to play that one, because you're not going to be able to meet the Ocarina of Time Link again after you finish Ocarina of Time. Because you're not going to play that one.
Which one?
He's a Stalfos in Twilight Princess.
Oh yeah. He
didn't know.
So no, I don't pretend to like I know stuff. That's the thing about me. If I know, I can agree with you and say, yeah, like I know what you're referring to. I'm not saying that I know about it.
I'm teasing you. I mean, you're in the dark world just because you don't like the demo. It doesn't mean I'm mad at you. I'm just saying that your opinion is wrong.
I know. It's my opinion. For me, it's right.
So before we jump into the main stuff, since we are on Zelda right now, there is one thing I'd like to add that I thought about after we finished last week, and you were talking about movie castings. Yeah, because I know I can't go all in on movie Zelda tonight, because then Lily's gonna get here next week and be like, "You guys were supposed to wait for me." But no, all I gotta say is I was thinking about it. For the new Zelda movie, Smash Bros. Ultimate Zelda outfit / style, Sabrina Carpenter as Zelda.
Ooh.
I would. Yep. That's my fan casting.
So the girl who's actually right now with that song that's kind of
the please one. Yeah.
Espresso.
The one
that Nintendo.
Yeah, the one that's
Espresso. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's had a good relationship with Nintendo over the years too, in commercials like 3DS era, stuff like that.
Is she
an
actress?
She was a Disney kid with
she was
Zendaya.
on. Yep. If you remember Boy Meets World back in the day,
yes,
she was on the sequel series called Girl Meets World, and she was one of the main characters in Girl Meets World. So
is she a good actress?
I think so.
Most Disney kids are. I feel.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
that's my fan casting for Zelda.
And she has good name recognition too for the role. So, she has her own audience she can bring in. And I'm pretty sure that, new Zelda fans and stuff. But I'm not a Zelda fan, so I can't talk about it.
We got Sassy Paul, Salty Mike. Can't wait to see who me and Joycey are going to be by the end of the night.
Yeah.
I'm sassy every week. That's just my personality. But no, but seriously though, what I was gonna say, I get it though, Mike. You want the cutesy stuff, but Nintendo's like, this is our answer for the story, the big action, kind of game, and we want people to take it serious, and we want people to consider it when they consider real games or whatever the case is. So that's really what it is. But the good news is the reason we like the Wii U tech demo is because it really is still the perfect marriage between realistic and cell shaded and still a little bit cartoony. So it's not all the way, frame by frame perfect series. I don't know if I'd want an ultra realistic Zelda.
Yeah, you can look
to be honest, what basically what I liked least was his outfit. It was too distracting to me, like this long thing he was having behind him. He looked like a
that's his hat. And I have a feeling that if Link really did talk to us, if he was a real person, he would tell us, "Don't diss the hat." I do believe that.
This is too unhinged for this early into the podcast.
Wait a minute. It's like Indiana Jones. Anytime Indiana Jones get caught up, what is the one thing he always saves? His hat. If his hat ever falls off, he always saves his hat.
He does. Yeah. Yeah. I like the fedora better than that one. I like the fedora better.
Yeah, like low key, I do kind of want to see like Link in a fedora. I think that'd be like
right.
hot. I think I think we could work with that.
He has some close ones, like the Imperial Guard uniform. It looks kind of like a French beret, kind of.
I do not like that outfit. I do not like that outfit.
You know why I'm enjoying? You know why I'm enjoying?
Very not normal Link, but
yeah.
The reason why I'm enjoying Ocarina of Time is because I was able to change his clothes to red once I got to the Gerudo. Was not the Gerudo, not the Gerudo, the
Death Mountain.
Yeah.
I went to Death Mountain and I got his little tunic that avoids him, getting hot, whatever.
Have you been to Gerudo yet?
I did. Wait.
Because you can get a really nice matching accessory with that red outfit.
I haven't gotten to Gerudo yet, so I'm right now. I'm about to. I just arrived at the water area for the.
You got some time.
Yeah.
The
Zora. Yeah.
You got some time, but when you get to the Gerudo area, you're gonna get a really nice matching accessory. I don't want to even tell you what it is. I don't want to ruin it.
I blame my daughters. I blame my daughters because they got me into those, Animal Crossing, changing your outfits, kind of.
That's what I liked about the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like, I totally want to see Link have a fashion show. Like
I would like really dress him up in a warrior outfit and just have him fight that same spider, but with not like a leprechaun guy.
I did like the barbarian helmet.
Yeah,
I like the barbarian outfit. You know what outfit I really like? The rupee one, where instead of it takes your health, it takes your rupees, and it has that long mane. Oh my god, dye that sucker a few different colors and put that on with the barbarian outfit. It's lit. I promise.
All right, so we go.
Boy, there's an hour of Zelda again.
Do we get into our?
It was only 45 minutes.
Didn't even start talking about the rest of that direct like we thought we would.
Topic number 1 is not that long, so we can get into it real quick. Let's see here. All right, so topic number 1, we're talking about some news that happened over the week. Little information here and there that I think you guys, I hope you guys want to hear our opinions on, right? For example, within the topics, we're talking about the pricing of video games because it's a thing, And so Nintendo had a meeting recently with shareholders, and there were a few things that were addressed during this meeting. One of them was the leaks, right? The leaks that have happened.
R.I.P. Piero.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
No more Pioro. There's no more Midori. Midori decided to step down on his or own. I don't even know if it was a he or her, but on their own. And then Pioro just put his foot in his mouth and decided to talk to an actual reporter, and then gave the reporter his source. I'm like, okay, that's awesome, right? And so, yeah, we have no more of them leakers. I think Nintendo's behind it all. They put some seeds here and planted some traps here. They fell in the traps, and Nintendo, they said they were working on it. And so the question out to the rest of the cast is, on leakers, a world without leakers. How do you guys feel about a world without leakers like Pioro and Midori and people who actually insiders, right? So because it's interesting to see. I actually like the surprise factor when I see it in direct. I don't want to know anything about it. It's like when I watch a movie in theaters, I don't want to know one little detail about it. That's why I watch the least trailers as possible. If there's a movie that I'm interested in, for example, this next Superman movie coming up next year, and I just saw the outfit. I'm super excited about it. It's super awesome. I'm not gonna watch one trailer, maybe just a little bit of one, just so that I can go in there with a fresh mind. And it's, I'm not gonna even go on Twitter in regards to Superman because there's gonna be a lot of hate on the movie already and stuff. So I'm not even gonna fill my head with that. So just a world without leakers. How do you guys feel? I'm gonna go with Zach. What do you think about a world without insiders and leakers in the world of gaming?
As a concept.
I mean, let's pretend right now that all of a sudden, just like Pioro and Midori, everybody just decide to stand down and not provide any more leaks.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Okay with it?
Like I'd be looking up my leaks on stuff that I want to learn about all the time.
So
I'm not gonna. It's definitely part of like what I do, part of my ritual and whatnot.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I'll avoid leaks for certain things. Before Star Wars Episode 7 came out, I avoided everything. And I'm glad I did because Force Awakens was the best Star Wars movie ever made. But, where there's some other stuff where I might be a little more interested in, but not necessarily like, don't spoil me, like Switch 2 leaks, for example, more interested in those. So, if something comes and it's cool and it's juicy, I'm like, ooh, let me know. I think the biggest net positive, though, would be you have spoiling trolls who are different than leakers.
Yeah.
There's this really, really, really popular show I watch. Actually, I'm not going to say what it is so I don't accidentally spoil anybody. But the manga's way ahead because, of course, the source material's way ahead. And a character gets killed in the manga. And I was on one of I've left all of the fan groups that I'm in on Facebook for the most part, because I'm in this fan group for anime and stuff. And I go to the comment section of a meme that was just a funny joke. And there was like 5 people who had just posted an image of the dude that got killed in the newest chapter that came out like 6 hours ago. And so I was just like, oh, cool. Well, now I know that that's happening in like 2 years.
Yeah.
And so, leaks are one thing, but then some people go out of their way to take leaks. And like you said, you don't watch the trailers. People go out of their way to take those leaks and spoil them for other people because they think it's fun or something, So yeah, I'm really big on, I'll discuss spoilers, but I'll make sure, hey, spoiler warning, here's your chance, give you 10 seconds to leave, But yeah, so I couldn't get spoiled on things if the leakers disappeared. So, you give and you get.
Yeah. I personally think on the channels, whenever I leak, because it is a sort of a leak that I'm going to talk about to the title, that video gets a lot of views, right? And videos for regular news, everyday normal news, they don't get as much attraction as the word leak being on the title. And if I were to be completely honest with you, I'm like, man, I wish I don't have to cover them, period. Because there's so much news happening around us. Like Josie just shared today, we're having a summer Splatfest. That sounds pretty amazing, right? And so sharing news like that in the world of Nintendo that's currently happening is more, I like it better than covering leaks, but the audience wants to know about the leaks. And so,
but that's actual news though that I said, because that's straight on. You can go to your Switch.
And that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Okay. That's tangible news. That's what I like to deliver. I like to give people news that is actually happening, that they know they can look forward to, rather than talk about something that could potentially never make it to the light of day, right?
Yeah.
And so that's basically, it's kind of like giving you false hope, and I don't like that. But Joycey, what do you think? A world without leaks, without leakers and insiders.
Here's my thing. I'm fine. First of all, I'm fine either way. Nintendo really, really earned back a lot of trust for a lot of things. I
Mhm.
don't know if my
Mhm.
Joy Cons will work, but I know I'll
Mhm.
have a game to put in my Switch. Okay, I'm gonna always have a game. But seriously, leaks don't bother me because I'm going to defend PRO here, and I'm going to defend Midori as well on this one. They leaked in a way where they were like, "Oh, they're probably." Oh, let's just take last week's direct as an example. Ooh, Metro Prime, Mario and Luigi. Let me just say something about Ace Attorney or something. You know what I mean? That doesn't bother me because I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, well, Ace Attorney, what? New Ace Attorney, old Ace Attorney, you know, what are we doing here? So that does, you know, get me excited. And then when I found out what it was, it didn't stop me from being excited. It doesn't stop me from wanting the game. The other thing is when it comes to official leaks or trailers,
Uh-huh.
I've learned this about Nintendo. Do not assume that they have shown us the whole thing because they have shown us absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Just that I remember especially during Breath of the Wild with all the trailers and everything, people were complaining that like, oh, well, they're showing so much. They show some very random areas that we didn't know about. We just knew we were going to be in the snow. We were going to be in the desert. We were going to be in the forest. And that's how is that any different from any other Zelda game?
Yeah.
Okay. We knew that already. We knew there, you know, but there was a lot of times we were like, well, what's that? Well, what's that? We didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? So we're just watching this trailer and analyzing, and we were all wrong. It creates fun discussion. But again, but what Zach was saying, I don't know, I'm pointing this way. Like what Zach was saying, though, I don't like malicious leaking.
Yeah.
If you know whoever, because somebody out there knows, whoever knows the ending of Metroid Prime 4, if you get on that internet, I'm putting you in the dark world. Okay. Not because it's even going to ruin anything for me, but fans deserve. It's one thing to know that it's coming. It's something else entirely to know what happens.
It's almost like a plot leak versus announcement leak.
Yes.
I'm totally okay with announcement leaks, and even that I wouldn't be okay if I was someone planning the Nintendo Direct. Then I'd be like, come on, you know. But like, yeah, where if it's like part of the plot, like, don't tell me that.
Yeah,
but to play devil's advocate for the spoilers, I would have bought The Last of Us 2 if like the first half of the cutscenes from the game didn't leak online early and it wasn't a story I absolutely was like, what is this garbage? Don't come at me, just my opinion. Remember, if you guys want to come at me about The Last of Us, just remember Mike doesn't like Green Link, so
just remember Mike's the bad one today.
Not
in the corner.
Not all teammates are the same.
But also too, you know, while I was happy about that as a consumer, because I would have been really mad I mean, this was big news. I'm, you know, spoiler alert for next 5 seconds. I've been really mad to know that the main character from the first game gets killed within the first 5 seconds of the second game, and I don't get to play as him. And that wasn't advertised at all. So like that made me not purchase, which made me happy. But also too, if you're the studio making this game, like I'm literally saying a leak caused me and other people not to purchase. So I'd be really upset if I'm the studio because now I'm losing money from leaks.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing to piggyback even more off of what he said, I look at it like this. Like I said, I don't mind because I look at it like this. Metroid Prime 4, we've been known that was coming. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a leak, but like Zach was saying, it's an announcement leak. So we knew at any moment it could drop, any direct, any shoot, any day, you know, it could have dropped, right? So it was not that, but was it any less special? Was it any less surprising? Was it any less fun? No. I had a blast last week, you know, just happy for the Metroid fan base. But also the other part of the direct that was fun is the fact that nobody had expectations for anything. We were just guessing and it was fun to just have conversations with each other and just talk about it. But we honestly didn't really expect anything. You know, we're all making bingo cards and everything. And that's why it seems like that was the best direct ever. There have been a lot of very good directs, but it seemed like that was the best direct ever because we kind of really didn't know anything.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
But I'm totally okay if no leaks exist. I'm okay if leaks do exist. because when Tears of the Kingdom leaked early, I got off the internet.
Yeah.
I just got off the internet. No
Mhm.
Twitter. I stayed out of Discords, and I talked to people who I knew would not maliciously spoil it for me.
I stayed off Facebook until I beat that game, and I beat it so
So did
quick
I.
just because of that.
For which game?
Tears of the
Tears of the
Kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
I was using every glitch. I don't normally take advantage of glitches, but I'm just like, I need to beat this as quick as I can so I can access social media again.
Man.
And so I was just like, infinite items, cool, let's go. Oh, infinite batteries, sweet, I'm gonna fly forever. All right, Ganondorf, I'm coming. Yeah.
And
go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry, real quick. Dank Meme Center X in the chat said Naughty Dog lost a lot of sales from that leak, the one that Zach was talking about. That's what I mean by malicious leaking. Because there were when Bayonetta 3 was announced and when the official trailer came out, I was hyped. I loved it, but we still couldn't figure out who the mysterious person was. But when you play the game, it's like, that's who that was. Okay. And I'm really glad I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was really glad that surprised me.
So there's this thing. I am not completely against leaks because, I think depending on the leaker, it does bring a sense of excitement into the gaming industry, especially with a company as quiet as Nintendo. These quiet moments, it's always good to hear something's going on behind the scenes, and insiders can share a piece of information that they have just to kind of keep us kind of okay, yeah. Especially as a content creator who focuses on news, right? But like you guys said, leakers who do it for selfish reasons that's another level of leaking. Pioro, like you were mentioning, I like the way he did it because he basically never leaked out the actual game or the title or what was it about. He just gives you hints. And so that made it more exciting because okay, well, what is he talking about? And then we had to kind of find a clue. And then once the direct game came and then we saw the game, oh, that's what he was talking about. All right, he knows what he's talking about because we can put it together. I like leaks in that way where it actually adds to the fun of waiting and excitement, rather than just giving, oh yeah, there's a new Donkey Kong game coming out. It's called Donkey Kong. Sit on a toilet. He's gonna be just sitting there for the entire game and it's flush and stuff. The entire kind of giving you the entire details of the game instead of just kind of showing you, helping you, right, Joycey? I'm telling you.
Don't put out cutscenes. Don't put out, plot beats. Just say, hey, new Zelda dropping soon. And just walk away. Or just let everybody just think about it. Just let everybody just think about it. What kind of new Zelda?
Or just say something like, I was thinking about the Triforce the other day for some reason. Something like that. And then people get used to the way you leak information. Like, he said Triforce, Zelda, what? And then we kind of put it together. And then, that's what Pioro did at one point. He actually, for Endless Ocean, he threw out a picture of dolphins at one point, right? and then like people like, is this dolphin emulator?
I was gonna respond to AB James. He said that he's hoping that Nintendo didn't spoil all of the echoes that are in Echoes of Wisdom. AB James, that's just what they showed us. Anuma himself said in the direct, I don't even know how many echoes there are. I haven't counted them all.
He said that he couldn't count them all. There's just too many. There's just a little bit, yeah. But what was I saying?
I'm sorry. I totally thought you were almost finished.
You were talking about how Pioro was like, oh, like dolphins, and a picture of dolphins.
Yeah, so basically the way that he leaked Endless Ocean was like that. He just gave you a picture of dolphins. Let it figure out for yourself, and that was fun. So, Paul, I'm curious to see what you have to say. A world without leakers. What do you think?
I think it's fine because that's how I could speak for myself. I grew up. We had the video game magazines, and the journalists were the ones that got what they should know that they could share to share. And if you picked up an Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine or a Nintendo Power or Game Pro, if they spoke to Capcom and got a little bit of a glimpse of what's going to happen in Street Fighter 3. Oh, we can't address that right now, but we can tell you that we're working on it and it's going to be a new change up to the franchise. And okay, cool. So that's the equivalent of a leak. they weren't ready to divulge completely, but the company controlled that, hey, we want to share something. The fans, the audience,
Mhm.
through this proper channel is able to do it. Now we don't really get those, but we arguably get more, which was a Nintendo Direct. And like you have to wait a little bit longer, but
Mhm.
you get to see a lot more when it's
Mhm.
ready. And the games industry is so big that you're getting them kind of in a way more often because maybe those directs are only a few times a year instead of a magazine once a month. But one, they're more substantial because you're
Mhm.
getting full blowouts, but also the fact that they're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you're getting little blips of insight into your favorite companies in that way often enough that there's so much to play that you don't really need to have anything extra spoiled.
Mhm.
Um, so I think like part of it is we just always want to have more. We always want to see more,
Yeah.
you know, especially when like Nintendo's, my favorite. So I'm always wanting to see the next. But I'm also okay when it takes a while because I know that there always is going to be something else, and they're always feeding me something in the meantime. With
Mhm.
Metroid Prime, that was a little one that was like I'm a little antsy for because oh my gosh, it's been so long. But that's such a rare case where otherwise I'm just chilling, living life, happy. What's the next good game? Cool. What's the next good game? Cool. And then with the other developers out there, same thing.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Uh, if a
You're
company wants to have a controlled leak where it's not known about on the grand scale. It's not an official document that they posted on Twitter or through their website or reached out to a big channel to full uncover, but
Mhm.
they told a friend and they said to the friend or to a private party, you could do this in a unique grassroots kind of way. Well, then it's a way that it kind of looks like it's just something. And then that's kind of appealing too. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, we're learning about something that we haven't seen yet or not official yet. Like it could add some hype and some extra speculation and to help make people talk about it more and help the sales out. But that's sort of a different thing. And you don't always know when a company is planning to do that or when did
Mhm.
it accidentally happen.
Yeah.
Uh,
I agree. I
I,
agree.
I would be I would be okay if there aren't, you know,
let
okay,
me just
Nintendo didn't like if I'll wrap this one up real quick, but like
no, you're fine.
I,
You're fine.
I would be fine with because there's another side of it too, which I'll get to real quick, I guess. So I hope I don't forget that one. But I would be okay if we don't see the Nintendo Switch 2 in any capacity until that October 17th or whatever
Mhm.
2.5 minute trailer. I
Yeah.
don't need to see some secret footage from this uh, conveyor belt that someone took a picture of the screen and was able to turn it on real quick and get the logo. And someone found a printed copy of the next 3D Mario box. And oh my gosh, we know the name. Like, as cool as it is to see that stuff, I have enough faith in Nintendo to eventually see it that
Mhm.
I'm okay. I'm not starving right now because they're giving me so much stuff in the meantime that
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh my gosh, there's nothing to look forward to in life. There's nothing to look forward to from Nintendo. Like that will come. I'm happy with what I have now. So that's why I'm not dying to see anything. And I'm cool with it not showing up till it's ready. But the other side of it is, unless if it's the few rare examples where a company secretly gives off something, and maybe even the full company doesn't even know, it's just a few choice employees within. There is some harm that could be done. There is the stock market of that company's shares. This was an announcement that was strategically designed to be shared on this date, not
Mhm.
X amount of months earlier. The stock went down. If it went up, that's cool, but it went down because the shareholders know these kind of things are supposed to be strategically placed around this tax time. So it could be a recovery, boom, 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 boom. And there's so many different layers to it. So on that side, when these things come out prematurely, they do affect more and then they affect the jobs. And then there's this internal struggle. And then you realize like, oh man, there's lives that get messed up from not knowing who did what. And then there's, you know, private documents, and then there's like the hacking stuff that Insomniac Games had to go out, and like all this Wolverine footage, and the fact that they're making a new Ratchet and Clank, and like as cool as some of that stuff is to know, dude, we get enough from them, and like they're a good studio. Let them be it. Let them not have to deal with all that stress and the woes of these several dozen talented people that are going frantic now. And then on Sony's side, oof, that's a hit. You've got these plans laid out. There goes your surprises that are a little boost when they're supposed to be. So there's so much more to it. I'd be like, you know what? Let the video game industry be its thing. Maybe even if the developers, I mean, it could be a thing like developers tighten up more, but then they're also a little bit more willing to give nuggets more often. So it almost curbs the temptation of people trying to dig because they are giving more samples more often.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing either. And the way we get news from here on out from some companies might start to be a little bit different. Like, I don't think Nintendo's going to stop doing directs, but maybe on their own internal tightening side, it's different, and maybe it's a little bit better because they drop some more nuggets, and maybe it's a little bit, tighter on the social media in terms of hints. But it's not like they do hints anyways, really. People were speculating, oh my gosh, the Mario sitting by the beach, is this going to be Super Mario Sunshine? Nintendo knows that people on the internet go crazy over little things, so they're very careful about what they put. Yeah, I know that was kind of long, but I got what I wanted to say.
That wasn't long. I have a question though for you guys. So this is what I would do if I ran the world of Nintendo. January 2nd, here's our calendar, and I give you all the direct dates, or at least the month, and nothing else gets out. Nothing else gets out. I'm not telling you about no other games that haven't already been announced. Just these are when the directs are. January 2nd, that's our new calendar. It's on the Nintendo calendar. But that's it. You don't hear anything else. I honestly would kind of like that.
In a way, they kind of did it over time. They
did it for this one.
No, but I'm saying over time they've done it. They've accustomed us having a direct in February, one in June, and one in September. So by repeating that over and over for the past 7 years, they kind of, okay, we can expect the direct in September. It happens in September. I mean, in February, it happens in February. We can expect,
but it wasn't a general one.
No,
so
I'm
that
saying
was outside of the norm.
To remove this year out of the equation. This wasn't a regular year for Nintendo. This was like the last year. But let's talk about the previous years from Switch first year to 7th year. Right, this is the 8th year. Every February we got a direct. Every summer we got one, or even a mini, and then every September we got one. We got one, and so we kind of knew when to expect one by that. A lot of leakers, we're having a direct in February. No duh, Nintendo has one every February, right? And a lot of supposedly leakers got bashed, and they had to kind of quit.
And I don't understand that either. When we do have a good leak, or we do discuss, hey, it's direct season, we know we get one around this time, blah blah blah. Then people get mad. Well, they haven't announced anything, so you're just clickbaiting. You're just making things up, and I'm like,
yeah.
How does that work? Why can't we just have a discussion about things we like?
And the thing is that Nintendo has this year they haven't changed, because we got a presentation in February, we got a presentation in June. Yeah, we should be getting one. We should be getting one in February and September, because
we got one in April too, didn't we? It was a mini, or was it a partner showcase? Or
that was an Indie World.
February was the partner showcase. So they like Mike said, they still stuck to it.
Yeah,
but Nintendo did say so much of their company public persona model is the element of surprise. They do like to be these magicians in the industry.
And the magician never reveals their secrets.
They work in their lab very different. I mean, they have white walls. It's a plain outside building. They don't have to wear the white lab coat uniform in their Kyoto offices anymore, but many of them traditionally still do. They operate very differently. They have a very rich Japanese culture with how they develop strongly. They try to make something perfection. But here they're making the most fantastical, colorful, wild games. And the way they share it is in the coolest way with this awesome Nintendo Direct. So They operate on a very serious, let's show off to the world who we are and make all of our developers celebrity rock stars. But man, do they make rock star games. It's such a interesting dynamic of who they are and what they make.
I think it's a psychological thing because by making everything so bland around them, they can focus on the color that they're working on, the world they're building. And so what they do is that everything they don't see around them, they end up just making everything even more colorful, more brighter, more, outgoing within the game itself. So it's actually pretty.
I guess I also look at it as I think people, I know we like to plan, we like to plan things, and it would be cool if we knew direct dates ahead of time. Okay, guys, we got to meet up in New York for June. We have to meet at the Nintendo store because I finally found the reaction to the direct from the Nintendo store in New York.
Hey,
and
shout out Kirby GCN. That's who films those. Yeah.
Yes, that's where I found it. And yeah, I'm like, we should do a podcast. We need to. So things like that would be fun, but
yeah.
I don't really care about leaks one way or the other. And then sometimes I'm the last to know unless you guys tell me.
Yeah.
I would like to. Oh, sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead.
I would like to add too, because I've been very cognizant of the fact that the whole time that we've been talking about this, to some people, it could come off hypocritical. I was straight up said, I was like, I look at leaks every day. And then I'm like, leak responsibly. Don't do this. Don't do that. And I was like, yeah, if they go away, it's probably for the net positive versus net negative. And same, Mike, I know you said, that you're not the biggest fan, but at the same time, when your video has leak in the title, does better. And so I do just want to take a moment and just speak to any potential leakers who are watching. If there aren't any leakers watching, just kind of also just put just kind of to put almost like a disclaimer, for lack of better words. I think, I like being able to look at leaks, but I know that only happens if people leak responsibly. That can sound so hypocritical, but if over and over and over there's these leaks that do damage to these companies, then it's going to be harder and harder and harder. It's already harder. It's already pretty hard for these leakers to do it. But so if people consistently are going for the big scoop, spoiler, this, that, and the other thing, and it's happening month after month after month, there's going to be new industry standards put into place that lead us to not getting these leaks. Yeah. And, then I don't have the discretion anymore to be like, okay, I'll look at these ones, but not these ones, because there just aren't any. Yeah. And also too, there are real people's jobs who can be affected and whatnot.
Oh, for sure.
And I was just thinking specifically, because you mentioned it when you were first talking about your week this week, Mike. We got some new Superman photos. Those are leaks. Those are set photos. Those weren't publicly posted, but at the same time, we already got to see the costume from that photo that James Gunn posted a while ago.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, to add that real quick. Part of those photos, we have one of James Gunn just going like this.
Yep.
So he's at least when it comes to directors, he's willing to care less about people taking pictures of sets and stuff like that. He was like,
I didn't.
Yeah, they know they're not on a. Oh, what'd you say, Joycey?
I didn't like the suit.
But see, that's my point. Would not.
But did I see it in the way I should have seen it?
Exactly.
I'm like, what about with all the effects and the lighting?
Yeah,
we did not get the first photo that we did get, 2 months ago, however long it was. I would have seen these photos and been like, oh no, what are they doing? But then, also too, I would have probably remembered, oh yeah, Henry Cavill's suit was bright blue in set photos, and then it was almost black in the movie. So but most people don't think that far and understand the process of how these things work. And so, yeah, Superman just kind of popped into my head because these set photos are technically leaks of something, but they're not leaking the suit. But for some reason, there are a lot of people, I'm seeing a lot of people, it's their first reaction to the suit. And I think I loved these set photos because I got to see the suit already from an official photo and see it graded and see how he looks. And the lines, the detail lines on the shoulders and the chest weren't as prominent in the actual graded, edited photo. I thought they added a nice texture to it versus the raw photos from these photographers. I was like, ooh, I do not like those lines.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, speaking on that, I like the suit just because it's not the. I like Henry Cavill Superman, but they went back to what Superman used to be. Like if you look at Christopher Reeve was a muscly man. He actually worked out. He was jacked, but the suit didn't really show that because the suit itself was the symbol, and you didn't have to look at the muscles and the abs and stuff like that to kind of see Superman. Superman was just the man in the suit, right? And so just down on that because we're not. I can talk about Superman all day.
Yep.
Can I say something?
Hopefully these photos don't leak like Hot Girl too early, Green Lantern too early.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see them for the first time in their proper pictures.
Yeah,
I've been really avoiding Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't know who's in it. I don't want to watch any more trailers. I don't know if it is, but like if a classic character like Omega Red is in it, I don't want to see that by some kind of leaked photo online. Like, no, I want to wait for the movie. I don't even want to see it in a commercial in that case,
Let me know, Jack, if you want to start a movie podcast, because we can talk about movies for a while.
It'll make me go to the movies.
Mike, we'll have to do one about Superman someday, specifically about the Richard Donner cut.
Oh man,
so good.
I own every Superman movie ever. Okay, just let you know, I have the Smallville. I have the one with Dean Cain. I own everything Superman. So
okay,
yeah.
So I'm doing okay. My last thing. I'm doing,
and I got one more thing after that.
A Superman feature length fan film. Probably next year.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy I've got playing Superman, one of the best actors I've ever worked with, but two, he used to like professionally be Superman. Like he led the Superman 50th anniversary parade as Superman and stuff. Like,
nice.
And so, yeah, I'm so excited about that.
That's pretty cool. So,
I just want to say, am I the only one that, maybe because I'm the only girl here, but Clark Kent's the hot one. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah,
Give me a smart man in glasses any day.
Listen, think about Clark Kent. He is like the nerdy type, but he's always very polite, very, very kind of gentleman-like, and
I love him.
He loves his grandmother. He sends money to his grandmother from his personal check. Why do I know too much?
His grandmother or his mom?
His mom. Yeah, it's like an old lady. His mom. Yeah, Martha Kent.
Yeah.
All right, so moving over to the gaming world.
Get a Clark Kent in your life, y'all.
Moving over in the gaming world, we have let's go ahead and jump really quick going over the rest of the topics. These are not, they don't require responses, just things that happen. And then they did bring up Nintendo Switch 2. The shareholders did ask about Nintendo Switch 2, trying to get a little more information. I love the answer. They say, you know what, we are a company that is focused on surprising and delighting our fans. We will not ruin that, not even for our shareholders. It was like, whoa, that was Nintendo sticking to their guns, right? And then the next thing, the game prices, right? Really quick. Really quick. Let's do a 2 minutes per person answer on this $60 Donkey Kong game fiasco that's happening before we go on to the rest of the games from the Nintendo Direct that we missed out last podcast. But real quick, let me start right at the back. I think that games have value once they make it over to the Nintendo Switch, and I think that depending on the game, for example, if you have big characters like Mario, Donkey Kong, Zelda, these characters need to be the $60 mark because they are the main characters. Donkey Kong was the very first character before Mario was Mario, right? And so I don't disagree with these mainline characters always having these price points, right? There's always sales going on. They always discount that in a little thing. They got the voucher, this and that. Why was Metroid $49? Because Metroid is not considered like the top tier characters in the world of Nintendo, right? You don't see Metroid in theme parks. You don't see Metroid in the cereal box. You see Mario. You see Donkey Kong. You see Zelda, right? And those are their main, I think, bread and butter for Nintendo, and that's why they will always have on main consoles, not handhelds, because in handheld systems the prices vary and they go up and down all over the place. But at least for systems like the Nintendo Switch, right, and other consoles, main line characters will always have the mainline price. And so, anybody else want to chip in that?
Yeah, I know. I usually try my best to be like, we all have different opinions and this and that and the other thing. But when it comes to game pricing, I have like a kind of a firm like opinion, and like, if you disagree with me, I think you're wrong. I don't think like, oh, we can think different things, which is, and maybe it's because I'm in the creative fields myself and, partially work on video games with some indie creators and whatnot. But Zelda 1 was $50. That is the equivalent of about $140, I think, if it came out today. $50 back then, take into account inflation, is about $140. Games have always been in the $40, $50 price range from the very beginning, some of them more. And you look at the credits for those games, some of them have 12 names. You look at the credits for, let's say, God of War Ragnarok, the newest one. There's over 3,000 names in those credits. Like, those people have to get paid. And I think video games have a big, and I know people are like, but it's just a remaster. It's just a reskin. It's just a this. It's just a that. I feel like the video game audience, because games are entertainment and they're art, they're not a normal product, I feel like they have a really big, death to the artist perspective. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically once an artist creates, it's this idea that once an artist creates something, it doesn't belong to them anymore. It belongs to everyone who's enjoyed the art. And so that's just a philosophy that some people have. You can debate the merits behind it or not, but I feel like gamers have a very big death to the artist. Like, this is my Mario. I want this type of this. I want that, because it's an entertainment that we consume and spend our time on. Yeah. But it costs money to make. And I used to be really broke back in the day when I was a college student. I was really broke. And I was never able to buy games new. And I just understood that, where people will complain about these video games are objectively the cheapest they've ever been, even if they go up by $10. Mm-hmm. Like, they are objectively, you take into account inflation, the cheapest they've ever been, but they're also the most expensive they've ever been to produce. Mm-hmm. And so you vote with your wallet. If a game doesn't sell well, they're gonna have to discount it, and then you can get it. Like, we're not entitled to every game that comes out. We get to buy them, but like, they didn't make it specifically for Zach Hendricks or Joy CJ or Paul Gale or Mike Odyssey. And so, like, if it's too expensive for you and you got to wait and buy it used, or you have to wait a year for the, cheaper version with all the DLC to come out, then like, that sucks. But also, like, that's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my really harsh, direct take. Yeah.
I mean, you hit, almost every point you hit, on the mark. So what do you think, Joyce?
I actually agree with everything Zach said, because my thing is, when I think about games and their cost, this is my main thing. $70 for Tears of the Kingdom, when they have specifically said we're not doing DLC, even though they didn't say it ahead of time, but still, you're paying $70. You get a whole other level to the game, because we didn't know the depths existed until we got the game itself. Mm-hmm. And that was, thankfully, I'm so glad I stayed off the internet, and I was like, what do you mean there's a depth? Mm-hmm. What? Now take that same $70 and go to Dave and Buster's and see how far you get on $70.
Yeah, for real.
Even just by yourself, and you don't eat and you don't drink, you just play games. See how far that gets you.
Oh yeah.
You can play Tears of the Kingdom forever, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going through my extra slow second playthrough as of right now. So I look at that.
Same,
and then I also,
queen.
Thank you, honey. Slay. Stop. Seriously. But then also I look at with Nintendo, one of the things I always appreciate about Nintendo, 9 times out of 10, especially when it's a bigger title, I'm getting a quality product.
Yep.
It's almost like handbags. You can go to Target or Walmart and you can buy 5 or 6 handbags for $70. And they're all going to be probably torn up, ripped apart, no good by the end of the year. The Louis Vuitton I bought 15 years ago for a whole lot of money, almost about $800. That's a lot for a handbag. But I have overstuffed that handbag. The zipper hasn't broken. The handles aren't broken. It still looks brand new. It's a 15-year-old bag. So you have to think about quality as well.
Mhm.
You don't, the same reason why sometimes you don't want certain things off brand, because the off brand doesn't taste as good, right?
Yep.
So you spend a little bit more. That's why nobody, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be eating iceberg lettuce. It's basically crunchy water. Spend the money, get butter lettuce, and it's better for you. Paul will tell you. So I think it's about quality.
How
honey.
long does since a lot of us are probably male and not having handbags, how long does a typical handbag last? More or less than a year, like a cheap one?
A cheap one, if you're lucky to get a year out of it.
All right, so I just did the math then. That handbag you said you had for 15 years, that's already less than $50 a year. So if you bought the cheap ones, like, you objectively would have been spending more money on it.
Yeah, and that's just one, and that's the standard Louis Vuitton. Now, when we get into my specialty editions, I ain't had no business spending that money.
And that's
the point is,
yeah,
but they're quality.
But that's a really good analogy for replayability of the game as well, right? Are you gonna buy this game and then after you finish it, you put it down, but then later on pick it back up and have fun again, right? It depends. There are some games that
I'm sorry, I just thought about something. Go ahead.
There are some games that you can replay over and over again, and that just adds value to it, right? And so, again, to Josie, go ahead, Josie.
And also, like, here's your auntie with a budget tip. Games like this, I wish I had kept my NES collection and all the boxes with their original booklets and everything. It's low key an insurance policy, and the reason I say low key is because what if hard times come? They can hit at any time, unfortunately, to anybody, anytime, whatever. And you don't want to part with things, but if you had to, a lot of those physical games, are going to be worth something one day, even though we've all opened them and everything else. So just take really good care of those things. A lot of my Louis Vuitton bags, especially my specialty ones, they're used, but I could probably make a good amount of money on it. Probably should and go buy a house like a normal person. So think about that if I ain't bought all them dang on purses, I'd have 3 houses.
That's not even an exaggeration.
It really isn't. So think about that as well. Think about the quality that you're getting. And then what if you don't have time to play the game right now? You can play it later. You can replay it. You can have and then it also looks nice as a collection. Eventually, when I get some more stuff going on around here, because we haven't decided if we're moving or not or what we're going to do. We don't know yet. I want it'll look nice in the background to not just see this blank wall and half of Link over here. Wouldn't it be nice to have a nice little setup like the rest of the guys have? And you see an actual row of Switch games and my Nintendo, figurines and things like that. So think about that too, guys.
Even this took years. Okay.
I love your setup, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
When I come visit, I'm sleeping in that room.
Oh, this is a podcast chair for in person. So if you guys come, we can have a podcast chair.
No,
chair.
I'm saying I'll just sleep on that yellow couch back there.
Yellow couch.
Mario will watch over me.
I'm changing the color to blue. It's one of those IKEA couches you can remove the cover and change the colors. Yeah.
Excuse me. Oh, and one more thing. Somebody asked about like Echoes of Wisdoms and 2D games. Here's the thing, guys. Even though visually we see 3D mainline Zelda and 2D Zelda as almost 2 different things, Nintendo treats them the same. They care about Echoes of Wisdom just as much as they cared about Tears of the Kingdom. Okay. It's just that Echoes of Wisdom is probably easier and cheaper to make, but you're still getting quality and you're still getting a good game. So I think for the future, if this was switched to territory, I think Tears of the Kingdom and all those real big ones that they have, Mario Odysseys,
Yeah.
the Splatoons, those are going to be $70, guys.
Oh,
They're
for
going
sure.
to.
For sure. Think about
But then, you know, shoot, I think for the 2D games, for those cheaper games, those might be 60, and that's still a maybe. I'm done.
I'm saying, like I said, every game that has Mario in it, every game that has Zelda in it, every game that has Donkey Kong in it, if it's a console game, it's going to be $60 and up to $70. So we just have to get used to that price line, because Nintendo, out of all the companies, they've done a pretty good job of maintaining their prices low, not only for their games but their systems, right? And you can get a Switch for $199. You know, with the Switch Lite, you can get a Switch for $249, or $299, and you can get a Switch for $349, compared to the $500, $600, thingy. Throughout inflation, through everything, when inflation hit, PlayStation, they increased their prices. Xbox increased their prices. Nintendo, they stood strong there, and to this day, they have not increased prices at all. So just get used to
Nintendo.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine.
I get excited. Nintendo is the Louis Vuitton. At least this is what I think they think of themselves. They are the Louis Vuitton of gaming, because
the Apple of
fresh
phone.
shot. And well, you know what? Actually, yeah, you're right. That too. But the reason I say that is because, if we had to buy Ocarina of Time fresh out from Nintendo's store or from Nintendo's site, that game's still $60.
Yeah.
It's still 60.
AJ Abrams brings I say AJ Abrams. AJ Abrams. I don't know how I read that, but
AB James,
yeah. AJ Abrams is a director, right? The director
yes.
from something. But yeah, I remember Captain Toad launched on Wii U at $40. I don't know how much on Switch, but I know it added Odyssey levels. And that's the thing, that Captain Toad is not really a mainline character. He's a sidekick and a side character. So for games like this, I can expect it to be $49. If it comes to Switch, expect it maybe $49, $50, And so Paul, I want to hear from you. What do you think?
Yeah, Zach started off saying it right along where I was. I feel the same way, and Joycey complimented that. Gaming was more expensive back in the day.
Yeah.
I can only speak to California's numbers, but in October of 2000, my first job at minimum wage, 17 years old, junior in high school, it was $5.75 an hour. And video games were $60. So you had to work for 12 hours in order to pay for one game. And that's not necessarily with tax and stuff like that. Or yeah, you can call tax in there. $5.75 times 12. Yeah, that covers the tax just about. You had to work 12 hours to make that $60. California minimum wage now is $16. So the same little electronics boutique, GameStop job I had then, somebody now, a fellow 17-year-old or however old you are, could work 4 hours and make $64. And guess what? Gaming, for the vast majority part, is still $60. So gaming is very affordable in comparison.
Yeah.
The reason why a lot of people have a difficult time adjusting to this $10 jump is because it's a significant jump all at once. But trust me, it's far better this way than the alternative. If you go back to 2012, that was the first time all of the industry became 60 in this more modern era. Because back in the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis games, games were flying 60, 70, whatever.
Random games they were all different prices.
Random things. Nintendo might have had their MSRP, as did Sega, but toy stores like Toys R Us, for instance, was like, well, we have to make it more expensive because we need more percentage of this because we're only getting $4 per sale. So we got to make it, $79 so we can make $15 per sale. And that's why you saw that. But regardless, N64 era, 64 games were one thing, but PlayStation was typically 50. Going into GameCube, PS2, Xbox, everything was 50. But that next generation, Xbox 360, PS3, they made the shift to 60. We stuck at 50. So finally in 2012 was when the whole industry became standard at 60, because Wii U became 60, and then PS3 and Xbox 360 were still 60, and then PS4 and Xbox One eventually were 60. So if you went to 2012 and let's said in the last 12 years, let's do 50-cent increments per year, and you went in 2013, games are now $50.50, and then $60 in 2014, and then $51.50, $52, $53.50, $54. You know what I mean, like that. You would eventually get to, $66. Oh, I said 50. I meant 66, right? You eventually get to $66, $67, but you would have been paying a little bit more per year for the last dozen years, and that would be seen as a smaller percent increase of, oh yeah, it's only 50% more per year than $10 all at once, but you got to live all those years paying 60. Add it up, and you would see that it's drastically cheaper having it the way we have it now, seeing one nice jump to 70, bam, it stings, but it's like having one little medium punch to the chest instead of 15 average light punches to the chest. Like you just, that one punch to the chest, just feel that, and it's better than the 15 light ones getting punched every day.
Yeah.
It's a silly analogy, but I could make it a dozen of these analogies, but you want to get poked with one good thorn, or get scratches every day. Pick whatever poison, pick whatever thing that makes you sleep better at night, makes you more comfortable with feeling it. It's not that bad. And if it's a good game, it's definitely going to be worth it. I'll never say, I'm going to deprive myself of this amazing 60-hour experience because I have to pay $10 more. When you're in the heat of the battle and you're playing and you're having fun and you're playing this game for days on, weeks on, months on, splat fests, hours and hours talking with friends, the amount of hours that you're playing is like, oh man, was I playing this thing for $1.10 per hour of fun or $1 per fun? Like, you're not going to think of it in the moment. If it's good, it's good. Even if you look at gaming as a medium, you could buy a comic book these days for $5 and it'll be done in 20 minutes. You'll read it for 20 minutes if you're lucky, and that's that. So here's 14 times more the cost, but you're probably going to get far more than 14 times the entertainment, because what would be 14 times 20? You're looking at 4.5 hours. Like, that's it. Okay, it's not going to last long. You could spend $18 and go to the movie theater and see a 2-hour film that you don't own, that you saw for you only. And if you wanted to bring, family or whatever, and then kids tickets might be less, 13, instead of 18, but call it that, 36 plus another 26, and bam, you spend $62 for the couple of hours. That's it, $52. And that was it. You buy one game for 70, you enjoyed it for more than that 2-hour film experience, and your whole household still enjoyed it for that same $70 experience times X amount of hours, and then it just becomes that much more of a value. I think Zach said something like this before, which
I was about to bring it up again. I know exactly where you're going.
I used to have a similar metric, and I still kind of do, but not for everything. If it's $60 and I got 60 hours, I could value that at $1 per hour, and I am beyond happy with that. But let's say if it was a simpler game that didn't have that long of a life, but it has a greater potential at being a more replayable game that I will go back to in time, or it's a game that more people in my house can enjoy, thus increasing its value because, I played it for 15, my son played it for 15, my wife played it for 15, my daughter played it for 15, and it's not that big, but there's the 60. Or let's say we went like 10, 10, 5, 5. That's not that much for all of us, but it was really good quality 10, 10, 5, 5. And it's the kind of game that you probably will go back to a couple years from then, because it's one of those evergreen-ish titles that isn't too grand of a story, that it is more bite-sized, so it is easier to digest in smaller things, you know? I think was that where you're gonna go kind of with the
Yeah,
dollar?
well, I was specifically going to say come up with a metric
Uh-huh.
because
Yeah.
and your
Yeah.
metric can be whatever you want it to
Yes.
be, but also too, I know I started off being like, I'm gonna be a little harsher and blah blah blah, and then I felt a little bad, and so I was just like, because like $10, like it's not a lot and it's justified, but at the same time, everything's more expensive right now, and some people are struggling, and that $10 really might be the difference between buying a game or not. I know for me, $10, if I buy a game, it could be, that $10 could be the deciding factor. And if I'm going to wait a little bit on that one, because I'm just like, oh, it's not really worth 70 right now. I'll get it when it goes down. But I did just want to say, what's nice is like my metric that I've come up with for myself is $1 an hour. If I think I'm going to play a game for more than 30 hours, and it's a 30-hour dollar. I speak for a living. If I think I'm going to play a game for more than 30 hours and it's a $30 game, I'm like, bet. And so my metric is $1 per hour, and you're not going to get that anywhere else, but what I did just want to say, just because I know things are more expensive, a McChicken was $1 5 years ago. Now it's
And it was made out of real chicken.
right now it's
Back
like
then.
$3.50. And so, which again shows that games haven't jumped that much in price, but there's so many choices available to us now. There's so many indie games that are great for $5, for $10, for 15, 20. And so, if that $10 really is significant for you, because I never want to be belittling anyone. Oh, it's just $10. It's just, if that is significant for you, like the good news is we have so many games at our disposal right now through Steam and through the eShop and, the Xbox game store and the PlayStation game store that, we're
Use
able to
physical games.
find this entertainment for cheap, So you might not be able to afford the $60 game. You can get Xbox Game Pass for like 12. I have Ultimate and it's 15 a month, but I think you can get the base for like $10 a month. And now you can play brand new games that are $60, $70 games normally. So I did just want to say that, it's really cool that we have all of these cheaper options if these higher price tags are starting to scare some of us away.
Yeah.
I want to throw in a couple other things too. Oh, I'm sorry, Paul. Is it okay?
I will make one note on the Donkey Kong Country Returns price specifically. It is very much worth that if it's your first time going at it. But I can say I think it should have been 50, only for the reason that the original Wii game was 50. So I would feel that was justified, that this 12-year-old Wii game should be $50 now. However, the studio price goes up. You still have to pay people. The building in which you're working out of, the air conditioning to cool that room costs more for the DWP bill than it did 12 years ago. The money that you're spending for the janitor has a higher wage than then. The money for the insurance that you have to pay out per employee costs more than it did then. So all these other things go up. So who's to say that, oh no, it should have been 50? I'm only just saying from a consumer price visualizing perspective, 50 looks more attractive, because not just because it's less, but because that is what the original MSRP was for. But I mean, go ahead and look up what was $50 worth in 2000. 14 years ago. I think the game came out in 2010. What was $50 in 2010, and what is $50, and what does that equate to today? It could be 60. I don't know off the top of my head, but it probably is worth more. Now, the quality of experience is incredible. So you put your money where your mouth is. If it's a first-time owner, don't worry about it. I mean, don't worry about if the game should be less. Would you, if you didn't play it before, which none of us have, and a brand new Donkey Kong, a brand new 2D Donkey Kong Country game came out, basically the equivalent in quality of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and it came out January 2025, an equivalent level caliber Donkey Kong game as Mario Wonder, and it came out for 60. Would
That's
you
a
complain?
Solid point.
Would you complain about it being 60? No.
I would.
So, unless if you are one of the, I don't know, 7 million people that bought Donkey Kong Country Wii, which a lot of people that probably weren't alive 14 years ago when the game came out and didn't buy it. So, unless if you're one of those 7 million, for the other 140 million people that own a Nintendo Switch that haven't played it before, you would buy a new Donkey Kong in January 2025 without complaining if it was as good as Mario Wonder, right? So pretend that there's this. Just see it as, dang, it's a brand new experience. And heck yeah, it's worth $60. This thing's amazing. Now, if you need to, if it's like, but the principle of the matter, but it shouldn't. Look at it from that other perspective. Wages have gone up. Are you making the same that you did 14 years ago? Probably not. Did your rent go up? Did your gas go up for your car? Are these folks that have to travel to the building, did they have to spend more on their gas or charging up their cars than 14 years ago? Also probably. So I could tell you for what it's worth, it is very much worth that.
In a
also-
nutshell, you're getting a port from Nintendo Wii. Not only that, but when they ported it to Nintendo 3DS, they added things to it. So you're getting those extras in
the DS one.
HD
3DS.
on Nintendo Switch. So it's not like you're getting the same exact game you had on Nintendo Wii. You're getting the 3DS version in HD form on the Switch. So
And what's great about it too is if you are against it in principle, like Paul said, this Direct had so many awesome games. You don't have to get it,
there you go.
There's all these other awesome games that are cheaper or the same price.
If you want to pay only $50, you can also get the voucher and then save the rest for another game.
That's another good point.
Those vouchers
Other
are
thing-
steals.
That's a
Right?
big deal.
Right?
Also, I want to also kind of point out, guys, entertainment's expensive, period. No matter what time period or inflation or no inflation we're living in. I'm a book reader. This is one of my most favorite books. It is huge. This is about 900 pages. This book was, I think I got it on sale, but it was about $30 something. That's just this one book. I will tear through a book like this in a day. So have I got my $30 worth? I think I have, because I know this author. She puts out really, really good stuff. So I feel like I'm getting a good quality product. Somebody in the chat said, well, what if Echoes of Wisdom is $64 or $70? If Nintendo tells me one of their games costs a certain amount of money, I'm going to believe them because I know what I'm getting from Nintendo. First of all, with Nintendo, the game's finished. What you get a completed product. There might be a bug or two, but it's not like an unplayable, buggy mess of a game. You're getting a completed game. And then sometimes they drop DLC. Sometimes it's free. Usually it's not. But you have the whole game right then and there. So there's that. And then also, I'm going to give you Auntie Joyce's budgeting tips. Okay. You need to have your main savings account. You need to have your emergency savings, and you need to have your fun savings account. Throw a few dollars in that, and then you'd be surprised at how that grows over time. And then when you're ready to get a game or whatever entertainment you want to enjoy, you'll have a little money on the side. That's not, I'm always going to give y'all some budgeting tips if I can. I learned from my mother, who is very, very well off.
By the way, $50 in 2010 when Donkey Kong came out is worth 72 now. I had to look it up because I was pretty sure it's going to be like 66, 72. So there you go. Feel good. You're getting a $6 savings. No, you're getting a $12 savings to experience this game in those regards. I always go back to, Chrono Trigger.
Bro, that's right here. I have $89 in 1995. I was just going to say, use the calculator that you used just now.
You would be happy if you could buy a Super Nintendo cartridge called Chrono Trigger for $90 today.
What?
Instead of
Chrono Trigger was $89.99.
Look up a sealed copy or a new copy or a decent edition copy, and you're going to spend a few $100, several $100 easy. You mean to tell me that somebody would complain about spending $60 for a Chrono Trigger copy today when you cannot find it that much. Look at how much these games are worth. Same thing with Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Look at, can you find? That's a good example. That's a game that came out 20 years ago for $50, and you're getting a remade version of that game 20 years later for $60. For the last probably 15 of these 20 years, no one's been able to find a copy of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door for Nintendo GameCube for $50 anymore, the MSRP on GameCube. No one has. So for the last 15 of the 20 years that Paper Mario has been out, it has cost far more in the aftermarket price than the original MSRP. So the way I look at it is that this is a high-quality game that had the remake treatment that came out in this modern day for 2024, costing far less inflation-wise than a $50 game in 2002, and far less than the eBay aftermarket prices have been, calling the game being $100 plus for 15 of the last 20 years. So $60, well worth it.
I just checked, Paul, and Chrono Trigger, so it was $89.99 when it came out in 1995.
Gosh almighty.
And that is the equivalent, and mind you, that is the release price. And that is the equivalent of $185 today. And then Mortal Kombat, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 came out in the same year for $80, which is the equivalent of $165 today.
Not only are they costing less on paper, but they're costing less behind the scenes. And everyone nowadays is making more because every state's minimum wage is more than it was 25 years ago. So you're making, I have empathy for folks that, have a minimum wage job, but I was there and I know what it was like being a 17-year-old kid who had to work X amount, and you don't have to work X amount anymore. You work far less for video games. Everything else has gone up. And even though this industry is going up, gosh, it's still the best bang for your buck there is, I think. That's why I love it so much. But yeah, Zach just looked up some numbers. And so if Square Enix said, you know what, we're going to have our original price for Chrono Trigger and release a port, not even an HD 2D port, just a port, and call it $90, you'd have
half
some
the price.
people say like, that's too expensive. That's too expensive. But everyone else on eBay would be like, oh my gosh, I get to save $300 and not buy this outrageous eBay version of it. Even Chrono Trigger on DS, you probably can't get a good one for less than $100, and that's not even that old.
So listen.
I'm on fire. Sorry.
So if you guys don't want to spend $60 on a new game, right, on the Donkey Kong game, you can always donate it to my camera fund, only $20, right? Because of course you see my camera's been turning on and off and have a fundraiser going on. I only need 22 people at $20 each, and I'll meet my fundraiser and I can get my replacement camera or get mine fixed, and then we can continue on there. So if there's a link down below in the description for the fundraiser if you want to join that. Now that we're talking about $60 games and $40 games here and there, that's a little plug, a little camera fund plug. And now it's time, as you can see down below, we're gonna take the next 10 minutes and try to answer a couple questions. Keep it as short as possible. Talking to you, Paul. And
and technically me.
Must be a numbers question.
Yeah, no numbers.
I don't think. I don't know. I like Paul's numbers because I don't be remembering nothing. Paul always like, no, Joyce, that was in 1997, like in the fall, and it was like.
Mike's like keeping it short, and then didn't even finish the sentence without Joyce talking that story.
No, it's also cheap. Video game systems.
What grinds my gears?
A Nintendo GameCube cost $200 in 2001. And you can get a Nintendo Switch Lite for $200 now. The same price, 23 years apart. Come on.
I think it's fair.
We got a question. We got a question here for Paul. It says, Paul, for you, are you cast to play as Link in the Zelda movie?
NDA, Paul. Remember.
Oh my gosh, I
Can
read
I
that
an-
wrong.
Can I answer this?
How did you read it?
I thought
want to know.
I thought they were asking Paul if you can play as Link in the Zelda movie. Like, is he a playable character? I thought it was just like a nonsense question.
Oh,
And Mike just put it up there for a laugh. And then I was like, oh, wait, I just don't know how to read.
I'll say maybe. I might be. I might be.
All right.
NDA. We can't tell y'all everything.
Okay.
All right, guys. Any more questions? Are we good? Because I didn't see any questions in the chat. Well, I can't really
Let
see.
me go back a little bit because there were some really great conversations happening as we were.
But questions for the Q&A part. We can't bring topics that from the.
Oh, I can't. Oh, I just figure it's just us.
I don't see any questions currently.
It's just us and the Odyssey family, you know.
What's he did?
Until we get like crazy amounts of people.
I got a question for you guys. What are we thinking? Like I said earlier before we started, this is like a new setup. Should I go more purple behind me, more pink, more blue? Oh no, I've been messing with it all the way up until the podcast.
Try yellow and green.
Yellow and green.
Wait a minute, is that?
That's the
Did you ever
Packers. I can't do it.
Did you ever used to watch Behind the Music
No, I never heard of that.
on VH1 back in the day?
Nah.
You should go look up an episode of that, and that's exactly what your background looks like. For those who remember Behind the Music and when VH1 was a real channel back in the day, have all these exclusives with whoever was hot. They told their life story, and the background was always like something kind of faded out, like Zach has, and then their face was like crystal clear. As they talked about, their life and everything. It's not a bad thing. Zach.
The depth on this camera is crazy. Like I'm gonna lean like 4 inches forward, and it's like, oh, out of focus. I'm gonna lean like 4 inches back. It's like, oh, out of focus.
I like it the way it is, actually, to be honest with you.
I do like my little Nintendo World Championships mannequin. That's my guy.
Oh, bring him into focus.
From the 2017 World Championships. It's one of my favorite collector's things. Is
just have him in your place, and you can stand over where
I'll just head back there.
Yeah. That's the mannequin there. They try podcast. All right, so if there's no questions, guys, then we can go ahead. Wait, there's one question.
There's two.
All right. What million seller game Switch did you enjoy playing, and which more tried it? And wish more wish more tried them. I'm hungry. I want
it's the one he just got today in the mail. I guarantee you, it's going to be one of his favorites.
So I wish.
You're gonna love it.
I wish people tried more. I wish people tried more. This one right here, $1 million seller.
Go back to the dark world, Mike.
This one right here.
Everybody has that.
Hey, no. Most people have that in Duck Hunt on the same disc.
Oh yeah,
the same cartridge.
I do have it.
Good point.
It's in the system right now, but this is my other copy. This is like a first print copy I just had, somewhere.
That one's way more expensive to buy than the Duck Hunt one because there's less.
I had the original too back in the day. If only I had known.
That's the only one that you can do the minus world trick that I was talking about a couple weeks ago with putting in the tennis game and then taking out tennis and then putting Mario back in and getting 256 new minus world levels. Nice. It doesn't work on the Duck Hunt one.
I know that question was mainly for Mike, but I'm gonna throw my.
No, it's not for Mike. You just add Mike Odyssey so the highlight, but I'm pretty sure it's for everybody.
Okay, well, here's a game that I played that's a million seller that I wish more people would try, and I'm gonna plug it. I talk about it almost every other week. Octopath Traveler. You need that in your life, all of you. That is a game that, in my opinion, was really worth 70. It's chock full of things to do. The stories are great. The battle is great. It's fun, and that final boss the final boss and then the secret final boss. Well, Octopath Traveler. Well, no, they both have secret bosses. Are almost impossible. Good luck. Play those games and Bayonetta.
And I think it only sold about a little over 2 million copies, maybe 3 million. I loved ARMS and seeing
2.5 million.
2.5.
I think so.
Okay, cool. And so seeing Min Min get added to Smash gave me a lot of, one, she's my main. Two, gave me a lot of faith that we would see some more ARMS content. I really, really, really hope so, because ARMS, it's such a unique,
I think we're getting part
it follows
two. I haven't heard
first person shooter principles, but you're strafing side to side. I think it's so cool. I think just the mechanics behind how it works, and I would love there to be a bigger ARMS scene.
Okay.
Legs.
That's cool. Legs.
I can see a sequel. I hope so.
I think
they
the
are
thing that
doing
would
a
help
second
ARMS the most would be adding like some ARMS skins to, or even a high to Splatoon. I think that's the community that they should be targeting.
I get it now. I get why Joshi said legs. We're talking about the game ARMS.
It's gonna be it'll be part two. It'll be legs.
Legs.
And everybody should play it.
Legs.
ARMS is one of those good games that I don't think it's going to sell a whole lot more. It's probably selling a little bit on eShop every month, maybe several hundred copies, maybe something small. But if Nintendo has a new Player's Choice line or a Nintendo Selects line, put the games that are not evergreen, put the games that, sold as much as they're going to sell. And instead of selling 0 copies at 60, sell tens of thousands at 30.
Yeah.
And that would be a good way to do it. Or, once Super Mario Odyssey 2 comes out, I'm just calling it that, right? Once Mario Kart 10 comes out or whatever, once Animal Crossing Next comes out, take those older titles, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, every game's predecessor, and have those part of the Nintendo Selects line. And then that way you get more life out of that system, and you kind of keep the ecosystem happy, because Nintendo hasn't done a permanently reduced software line, just these key choices in a year where titles drop to 42 or whatever. But I think eventually we will get a Player's Choice or Nintendo Selects line. And I think $30 half off permanently is pretty darn affordable. And pick the big, awesome games that now their successes are out, and the games that are quality but aren't going to sell much more on their own. Like probably Bayonetta 3 is not selling by the tens of thousands every month. I wouldn't be surprised if it's selling in the dozens or a few hundreds. It's ever so slightly selling more, but not much. Stick that one on this $30 Player's Choice thing. And that's how you're going to get some more sales. Because would you rather get 60? Sure, but 60 times 0 or 60 times 10 is not much. 30 times a few thousand, that's better. Yeah.
You had to put math into it, Paul. You had to put math. I'm picking more on Paul now because he's not on camera.
Not on camera.
That's fine. We got sassy Paul. We got sassy Paul. And
all right. So now, before we head out, Paul had something he wanted to bring up. He wanted to share.
There were other questions, weren't there?
No, that was it.
You had another. Oh, okay. Because I see a few.
If I don't see them, they don't exist.
Okay.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Nothing exists if that were my logic.
Okay. What was Paul going to tell us? Because I want to know now.
Yeah, Paul.
This past week, I shared something on Twitter, which was a little update to my backyard Nintendo project. I started off with the Nintendo chairs, and then I continued it with turning my pool pump into a giant Pokeball, which I've wanted to do that for years. I was like, I am either going to make this into a green pipe, like Mario's green pipe, or a Pokeball. And I thought, it's a Pokeball. But the other thing is, I said back in, I think, October, that in November or December, I was going to add some Zelda to my pool, but it was a little bit too windy, a little bit too rainy. It just wasn't quite the right time. I was trying to sync it up with the 25th anniversary of Ocarina of Time, so it's a little bit belated, but now probably within the month or so, the pool will have another unique thing, and it's going to be a Link with the Triforce above his head in individual several hundred-piece tile mosaic. To achieve this, Link's quite a big sprite that I'm using, and it's going to be pretty sweet.
Oh, that's
Actually
amazing.
that's
I just
actually
found your Pokeball.
that's
see the
actually
Pokeball?
that's
The
actually my
Pokemon's
next.
cool, right?
Please, if we could.
It's so much better than just a plain white filter. Everyone's got that. That's boring. So
I was gonna say, that's actually my next. Are you talking about the sprite from Link's Awake, Link to the Past?
Ratatata.
So
Sorry,
it is
is
so
zero
with-
for nigga? No, let me stop.
with Mario. If you look at my Mario pool mosaic, I stuck to the 8-bit original Mario mosaic sprite, but I gave him
No, that's not what
light-
I'm talking about, Paul.
no, but I'm saying how I'm modified. Like
Oh,
I'm,
okay.
I'm going to that one because I had to modify that, and I'm modifying Link too. I had to modify Mario's hands because white hands in a white pool wouldn't show up as much, so I made it tan hands in a white pool.
Hold on, you made 10 hands?
Tan hands.
Like 10 hands, like that the hands that are popping out from Tears of the Kingdom, like trying to grab you. You said 10
No,
hands?
it's like it
Tan.
matches his Mario Bros.
Oh, you're talking about
two.
tan, the color. I thought you said 10
Like,
hands. Like,
ten.
10. He thought like the number 10.
okay.
He
Oh,
said tan.
Tan.
Yeah,
So
10.
with Zelda, I am using kind of a Link to the Past sprite, but I am going with a different hair color. I'm going with blonde, and I'm not going with black eyes. I'm going with blue.
Mhm.
So I'm modifying the A Link to the Past sprite to better fit like a composite overall Link, Ocarina, Twilight inspired Link, where he has a sash, which he doesn't have the sash in that version. He has a belt buckle, which he didn't have. So I'm sticking faithful, but with a couple of modifications to better make it look better for the pool purposes. And
Mhm.
even Nintendo, it's not like they wanted him to have pink hair back in the day in
Yeah.
that game.
You have
you know.
pictures?
It's so cute though. Well, the reason I was asking, I'll send you my inspiration for it. The reason I was saying is because that's actually my next tattoo whenever I get it.
Oh, sweet. Are you going to
Yeah.
modify it or keep it like totally faithful?
Almost totally faithful. He's gonna have the pink hair.
You
in
are,
it, but it's
Okay,
gonna be
cool.
the sprite. It's gonna be really little though. It'll be somewhere that's
Oh, cool.
not too crazy.
I do see one more question. I think it is the most important question we've gotten. It's from Tall Show.
Oh my
And
God.
it's not, it doesn't say it's addressed, but I think it's addressed to Paul. And yeah, it says, why not CDI Link?
Okay, Tall Show is now banished to the dark world as well.
Hey,
With Mike.
I need
All
to
right.
check out CDI Link because I'm probably gonna like CDI Link better than I like.
No, the CDI games aren't even mainline games. They do not count. Nintendo does not pay
excuse me,
attention.
princess.
CDI
You go to timeout too.
Link.
All y'all in timeout. Paul, you in timeout because you
Hey,
win.
I remember CDI Link.
Isn't CDI Link the best voice acting Link in any game ever?
He
Of the Zelda
is.
series?
He
Because
is.
he's the only voice acting Link.
Excuse me.
That's
His
it.
voice acting.
Just kidding.
CDI Link is like the best one.
He's
I always
sassy. He's sassy Link. That's why sassy Paul likes sassy CDI.
No,
Link.
because I feel like Zelda's such a not nice person in those. She always acts so annoyed with him, and I'm like, bruh, you go out there by yourself. How about that? You go out there by yourself.
God. But let's talk about
lady.
CDI Zelda.
Well, CDI Zelda, like I do get concerned when I see that question because there are people who legitimately believe that that's part of the main series,
She
and
looks
they
like-
have
she
to
looks
play,
like a
and they have to play those games in order to, complete playing all the Zelda games. It's like no. There's a very long story behind
I
it.
need
mean,
to play
we
that
have timelines and
gotta play it.
multiverses.
I gotta play it.
No, it's not in the multiverse either. And if you put, because hey, you think you dislike the Wii U tech demo? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Mike. Play the CDI games. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm liking the Link better than I like the tech demo Link.
And the CDI games?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're definitely not.
he looks like a meme.
All right, y'all, let's go.
I think he is a meme.
He looks like a meme. That's why I like it. He looks like he's hilarious. It's weird. It's weird. His at least his ears are not that pointy. So
They're not canon for a reason. They're not even made by Nintendo.
All right. So with that,
What?
with that, Paul's supposed to be was supposed to be here only an hour. He's still the 2 hours. So thank you so much, Paul, for staying the extra hour. And yeah, we had a great podcast today talking about how much I dislike the tech demo and Link's. I think it's just Link's hat. His hat is just, I don't know. It's a little weird, but other than that, I think it's time to put a bow on top of the cake. Does a bow belong on top of a cake? Does it?
Maybe.
A cherry on top of the sundae? Anyway, it's time to introduce the All-Star Cast one more time to let you know what they have going on this week and where we find them. Hold up, we got a super chat last minute. Let's go ahead and talk to Boo Mini here real quick. Thank you, Boo Mini, for that super chat. Appreciate it so much. Can we, an audience, conduct a questionnaire to determine if this is really Paul Gale Network who we've been exchanging Nintendo ideas with? There's no way of knowing. This could be an AI that took over, AI Paul. And so, well, there's only one way to find out.
Like Boo Mini's super chat, if we think this is fake Paul or if we think this is real Paul. Which one are we doing the like for? I'm gonna say fake Paul. If you think it's fake Paul, like Boo Mini's super chat.
I'm definitely going with fake Paul. Fake
Fake
Paul.
Paul. Yeah, I think
he's too sassy.
Sassy Paul.
So sassy. You've been hanging around me too much, Paul.
But he did get excited when I started talking about numbers. So
it's AI Paul.
It's all an act. It's all an act.
We got one AI Paul. We got one fake Paul. We got CDI Paul. CDI Paul.
CDI Paul.
That's a good one.
You just now heard that?
CDI Paul.
I am so hungry.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the dance party extravaganza. So, guys, let's go with Zach Hendricks. Zach, what have you got going on this week, and where can we find you?
I am conducting a survey about if we think this is real Paul or fake Paul. 6 people have voted that this is fake Paul, and 0 have voted that it's real Paul, since there's only one voting option. So that's what I'm doing. But besides that, I am streaming Smash Bros. Ultimate next Friday. Had to get all my monitors are down besides one. I wasn't going to try to stream with just one, but getting a new monitor. So I'll be streaming Smash Bros. Ultimate after next week's podcast. And until then, I am just going to be working on things that I am not allowed to talk about because they are film related.
NDA. All right. Moving over to Hyrule correspondent Joyce CJ. Reporting from Hyrule Castle, here is correspondent Joyce J.
Music's good. Hey, y'all. I'm
It's
DJ
a bop.
Joycey on Twitter. I am just a crazy old lady who loves video games. You can see me here every single Friday on the Nintopics podcast. Jeez.
All right, and climbing up the ladder, here is Mr. CDA Paul. Where can we
You pull
find
the
you?
curtain back. It's like a little old man who's just been working him like all these times. like,
Hey,
animating
hello.
him.
I am the real Paul Gale Network.
Hey,
You know
look,
it,
I had
Men
like
in
a-
Black with the guy's face opens up and there's the little alien inside of
I
it.
remember back in the day when Tears of the Kingdom used to call 5 cents. 5 cents.
Paul's you know the SpongeBob movie with with David Hasselhoff's chest?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Paul's
Yes.
chest is like and then we see the real Paul.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't point that thing at us, Zach.
See, now I'm like, maybe for next week's podcast, I'll get like a puppet, and then I'll take the camera on and put like the puppet up the way that they do for like Kermit the Frog and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
just that'll be me talking or something.
Like Arlo.
I'm on YouTube at Polygale Network, on Twitter /X at Polygale Network as well. This week was pretty fun. I was talking about some Japanese hardware, software sales in which Nintendo cleared 8 out of the top 10. Still awesome for a system in its 8th year. Amazing. And then I also shared some thoughts on how wild it is that Nintendo Switch has yet to have a price drop, and can't really count Nintendo Switch Lite, but even if you do, like, they also went up in price to $350 2 years later with OLED models. So anyways, that's where I'm at. Polygale Network on all these platforms. And thanks for watching, following, liking, commenting. I like to reply to everybody. So if you ever want to chat, no matter how busy it gets and how many dozens and dozens and hundreds of responses, I get back to everyone. I really try. I enjoy it. So thanks for talking.
Yeah, and you can find Paul Gill Network here at the Nintopics Podcast every Friday night at 8:30 p.m. The best place to end your week and start your weekend. And with that, you can find me here at the Odyssey Monday through Friday. Videos are kind of sporadic because, again, still working on trying to get that camera up and going. Again, I have that fundraiser. If you guys want to chip in, it's there. I'm very close. I'm about $400 away from getting the camera, so I'm good, or repairing the camera, either or. Monday to Friday content, news, podcast, and more coming here soon. So with that,
Wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is they'll get over.
For the listeners, we're dancing. Except for Paul. We can't see Paul since he's just a picture, but he's peck popping.
Totally.
My head's bouncing back and forth. It's true.
Sure. Pixar, it didn't happen.
Our bodies move to the groove and the light that flickers. We get lost in the crowd, it's getting thicker.
Oh, nice. Whoa.
We get away from the drinks and chatter. Haven't said a word, but it doesn't matter. Feel the air getting thinner. Standing in a blurry dream. No one else can see us. Live your life within the moment.
so yeah,
Dang it. I'm so sorry.
good.
I wasn't sure.
You never know.
While the music was playing, I was just going to say shout out to Lilly Hyrule, who couldn't be here today. Our
Yeah.
fellow
Shout out
co-host.
to Lilly.
Shout out to Lilly.
Hopefully.
And shout out to Lily and all of our viewers over at Lily's also, because Lily's even though she is not here, she always streams from her channel. So shout out to everyone watching us by Lily as well. And before we let you go, we got 2 things we gotta let you know. They're very two, and they're very, 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 very important. Number one,
Never give up.
never give up.
Because we need you.
Don't do it. I keep saying, look, you might be one day away from that breakthrough, so never, ever give up. And number 2, after you have not given up, something continues, right?
Mhm.
Journey on.
Journey on.
Journey
Journey
on.
continues.
That's right.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Have the most wonderful weekend ever. And we'll see you here back at the Nintopics Podcast next Friday at the same time, same hour, same bat channel, same bat time. and same bat place and same bat.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Same
Good night,
bat,
everybody.
same bat. Bat.
In the stream, Mike. I just did it. I did it in the stream.
Who's laughing like that, Paul? Paul laughing. What laugh was that, Paul? Like,
That's the CDI laugh.
And that is a fact.